Hi, good day everyone. Welcome to our research series program. My name is Havon. I'm the host for this video. Today, we are privileged to have Dr. Kazi Zohak joining us to discuss and shed light on the important aspect of Sustainable Development Goals or SDG. Good afternoon, Dr. Kazi Zohak.
Good afternoon, Ivan.
Thank you for joining us today. It's really an honor for us to have you here. How are you today?
I'm doing pretty well.
Thank you. So before we start our conversation, I will briefly introduce Dr. Kazi Zohak. Dr. Kazi Zohak is an associate professor and the head of the PhD program at the Graduate School of Economics and Management, Ural Federal University, Russian Federation. His research focuses in the area of economics and finance, with expertise in energy and sustainability. He is a very productive researcher with Scopus H Index score of 30. Today, we are going to discuss about SDGs, and to understand this better, Dr. Kazi Zohak will help us by answering several of my questions. Is that okay?
Thank you.
Let's start with my first question. Before we are going further, could you please explain first to us what is sustainability? I mean, because I know sustainability is a general concept, but there are lots of definition of sustainability, right?
Yeah, thank you very much for this question. I'll try to answer you from my point of view,
Sure.
the way I understand sustainability. As you said, there are many definitions available in the internet. But the sustainability is, in general sense, is that anything that's gonna sustain in long run. More broadly, let's say that what we are doing today, because of our action, future generations should not suffer. For instance, I'm giving a very tiny example. Let's say there is a little pond. You know what is pond?
Yes.
And there are some fish, let's say.
Yes.
Now, I'm going to catch fish. So if the rate of catching fish or extraction is higher than reproduction, in some point of time, there will be no fish.
Yes, sure.
So I have to catch fish such a way that should not exceed the reproduction rate. So at least it will be equal to maintain the same level. But if my catching rate or extraction rate is less than reproduction, then the number will grow. It will be more sustainable. So this is what I understand.
Yeah.
In terms of the economics in broad sense, that economic growth should be such a way that growth should be acceptable socially and environmentally and also economically. So anything is gonna interaction of these three terms, three basic thing or dimension, which is socially acceptable, environmentally acceptable, and economically viable.
Sure.
So if we talk about the economic growth, so initially any country that think about initial stages of growth. So no matter the environment, just a growth, higher economic growth, GDP. Then the second stage of growth, think about development. So which is necessarily infrastructure development, meaning like a qualitative change. One is a quantitative change. The second qualitative change. Then third stage is a sustainable development, meaning the development is going to survive or sustain in the long run. And the last stage, we can say sustainable human development.
Yeah.
So that's where the people have self-actualization, education, responsible society, quality of governance, so many other things.
Okay. Thank you so much, Dr. Zohak. My next question is, what do you think about Paris Agreement? Do you think they already managed to support the key goals of sustainable development or not, perhaps?
Yeah, out of several sustainable development goals 17, so one is that renewable energy. So renewable energy, one of the mitigating approach. Why it is mitigating approach? Because the climate change is real. It's taking place. So in order to fight with this climate change, there are two types of approach. One is adaptation, meaning we cannot change, we have to adapt. Another one is mitigation. So mitigation is that human-induced environmental change. We have to reduce it.
Yes.
So why energy? Because the fossil fuel that contains carbon, and when you are burning fossil fuel, this carbon is going to the lower atmosphere, and the nature of the carbon, it absorbs sunlight. So that's the problem of warming.
Yeah.
So when there will be warming, meaning the snow or the ice will melt down, the sea level will rise, and there will be many environmental phenomena. So that's why we need to reduce carbon emission.
Sure.
Meaning all the traditional energy has to be replaced with the cleaner energy or the
Yeah.
green energy. That's why the Paris Agreement was very important underpinning to promote renewable energy. So most of the country, they have a voluntary plan or
Yes.
agreement to improve or increase renewable energy share into the total energy mix. So in their sustainable development goal agenda or national determined contribution, many countries, they precisely mention or highlight their goal. So though it varies from regional to regional, so let's say Australia has a achievable goal by 2030, Japan, South Africa, Brazil, India. So India's target is very ambitious target, which is approximately 450 gigawatts of renewable energy. So far, their achievement is not that much, meaning it requires a huge investment. European Union, I think it's promising, it's achievable. In the case of United States, so far their achievement is not very satisfactory. There needs a long way to go to achieve their goals, which is approximately 150 gigawatt. But the very different outcome or spectacular progress in the case of China. The Chinese plan is 1,200 gigawatts of renewable energy from solar and wind energy. And interestingly, by 2023, they achieved their goal. So none of the country achieved their target so far. So, but China did it. Anyway, whether this agreement, all the targets achievable or not, that's a little bit questionable. Questionable, why? Because in order to achieve these targets, it needs huge investment.
Yes.
This investment for developed country, probably it is easy for them for investment. For developing country, they have other priority like poverty alleviation and so many other important priorities than just renewable energy. So this is one of the problem. Another problem is that in renewable energy, you need many critical minerals like nickel. That Indonesia has a lot of nickel.
Lots of nickel for
Copper.
battery.
Yes. So these are the critical minerals are called transitional minerals. This mineral price is increasing, and this mineral also you need to extract from the countries it is located or in a very few countries, meaning it's a highly concentrated minerals. So like Russia, Chile, then Indonesia, Australia, then China. Another thing is that storage facility. For a storage facility, you need lithium. So lithium is China is like a superpower. So the ongoing geopolitical issues, when this mineral is concentrated among the few countries, is going to be more challenging, I believe. First of all, the price, the financial needs, and third thing is geopolitical issue, making it very difficult to achieve all these targets. This is what I think.
Okay. Thank you so much. Then we are moving further. Could you please tell us about the financial needs for Sustainable Development Goals or SDGs, a focus on regional difference?
Yeah, as I said, there is a huge regional differences,
Yes.
especially for developed country. For them, it is pretty easy for investing in Green Deal.
Yes. Can-
Now, as for developing country, they have other priorities. For the way out is probably the regional cooperation is important, and because of the geopolitical risk also is going to be more difficult to achieve all these goals along with the financial needs. So what is important is that we basically need market solutions rather than relying on this fund from the government, because
okay.
who is going to finance this kind of a project?
Yes.
If you look at the banking sector, banking sectors care about whether this loan will be default, non-performing, or they can return it.
Yes.
But this kind of a project, renewable energy project or other innovative project, is sometimes risky, meaning you may not get proper outcome, expected outcome. So sometimes in order to avoid the risk, banking sector, they try to find out that which sector is giving you more payoff. So that's why the financial needs is very vital.
Okay.
So instead of relying on the government fund,
Yes.
we need a market solution. So
Market
market
solution.
solution, what kind of market solution? Let's say it will be such a business plan will be such a way that has a co-benefit. Co-benefit like that's good for the people, good for the pocket, good for the planet.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Then could you tell us about your research finding, perhaps, especially about the environmental policy effectiveness?
All right. So if you look at my publication on the recent publication, is we try to investigate the effectiveness of environmental policy stringency. So what is environmental policy stringency? So many countries, they adopted environmental policy. Some of them are command and control, and some of them are the market-based approach, like taxation, green tax, or carbon trading, or government subsidy for renewable energy projects or the green deals like this. So we have taken a country where there is a policy, and stringent policy. So the policy can be very stringent, some of the less stringent, I mean, the degrees of the policy. And some of the countries without no policy.
Policy.
Yeah, without policies. So our findings it shows that in many environmental indicators, including renewable energy, those who implementing stringent policy, they are not necessarily enjoying a higher growth of these kind of indicators comparing with the country. For example, energy innovations, where the China is in the lead. So many countries like Saudi Arabia, UAE, they're not implementing this kind of a policy, but they have a higher growth of this kind of indicators. So why it is happening? My research findings shows that because we are following a market structure, market economy. So in the market economy, when you are imposing too many policies, often these policies are counterproductive. With so there is a negative spillover effect because of the government policy. Let's say if government is imposing too much tax, corporate tax, the corporate will not grow. So it will have a negative impact on other sectors. So that's why we see also a lot of environmental policy uncertainty. For example, in Europe, they promised they were going to promote green project, including, let's say, electric vehicles. So now they are changing because when China come into the market, they are producing electric vehicle and going to export Europe. So European car may not compete with them. So they are saying that no, we have to impose tax, but which is very much highly paradox. Like what they promise and what they are doing, we see a perfect paradox. So that's why in the market economy, if the government is going to impose too many policies, often it is very much counterproductive. This is what my understanding is.
Thank you. That's understandable. I think my last question is, what is your breakthrough study that you would like to highlight, perhaps one of the most important one?
I think I will continue with this kind of a policy effectiveness. So far we have seen many environmental policies, whether effective or not. So we are going to produce an index. That index will shows the policy stringency in the transport sector, especially for electric vehicle. So whether electric vehicle is really good mitigation policy for environment or not, because there is a debate in the proponents. Some say that no, electric car is friendly for environment. Some are saying no, not necessarily, because still you need to charge it. That electricity is coming from maybe fossil fuel.
Yes.
And since it needs a storage facility, it needs more of the critical minerals. And drilling these minerals also can be counterproductive with the environment. So we are trying to see it. Also, we want to investigate ESG aspect with relating with the profit, whether profit is influencing ESG is more or ESG is influencing profit. This kind of a dilemma or paradox.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Sohak.
Thank you.
I think we already had a very insightful discussion with some key takeaway as well. Once again, thank you for sharing. Finally, I think we have reached at the end of this video. Thank you for watching and see you next time.